Hey guys, welcome to our weekly news show here on Backstage with Millionaires. I'm Caleb, your host, and it's the first day of 2022. It sounds really weird to say that because unofficially we started Backstage with Millionaires all the way back in 2018. In December of that year, we started shooting interviews, and then our first official video was posted on January 1st of 2019. But here we are now in 2022, looking forward to an amazing new year for Indian startups. 2021 was an incredible year, probably the most memorable year on record. So many Indian startups became unicorns or went public, and I'm hoping for the same kinds of achievements in 2022. So let's look forward to that. And now let's jump into last week's news. We have a new startup filing for their IPO. We also have some bad news when it comes to Ola Electric, but we also have two new Indian startup unicorns. And we're going to be talking about all of these things and more coming up right after this. All right, so first up in the news, I wanted to start things off by talking about the latest Indian startup to file for an IPO. We've got SaaS-based customer engagement startup Capillary Technologies. They filed their draft red herring prospectus last week, and they're going to be raising 850 crore rupees through this IPO. But what does Capillary Technologies actually do? Well, they started their journey in 2008 in Bengaluru by offering end-to-end loyalty management programs aimed at building engagement and boosting revenues for their customers. And today, the startup is working with over 250 brands across 30 countries. And back in 2020, they emerged as the market leader in the Asia-Pacific region in this particular space, the loyalty management space, with a 39% market share. Now, what's interesting about the financial situation of Capillary Technologies is that over the last 3 years, their revenues have actually been declining. But in spite of this, they've become profitable. In the financial year of 2019, they saw a loss of 11.7 crore rupees. But they were able to turn this into a profit in the financial year of 2020 of 20.6 lakh rupees. And then that profit increased to 16.94 crore rupees in the financial year of 2021. Now, according to their draft red herring prospectus, of the 850 crore rupees that Capillary Technologies is going to be raising through this IPO, 650 crore rupees is going to be offer of sale, meaning that their existing investors are going to be selling their stake to the public and exiting their positions in Capillary Technologies. And it looks like this is probably one of the primary reasons why the company is going public in the first place. It's to give their existing investors a successful exit. Now, the remaining 200 crore rupees is going to be invested into product development, into inorganic and organic growth initiatives, and also to pay off some of the company's debts. All right, next up in the news, things are going from bad to worse when it comes to Ola Electric and the S1 and S1 Pro electric scooters that they finally started shipping. In a previous news video, we talked about how shipping was delayed and customers had to wait for these electric scooters. Then later on, we covered that some of the features that were initially promised with these electric scooters wouldn't be shipping with the initial batch of scooters. For example, voice command or cruise control or Bluetooth. These are huge features that people are gonna have to wait for a software update to actually be able to use and access. But now, things have gotten even worse. The S1 and S1 Pro electric scooters have started shipping with scratches, dents, manufacturing defects, and suboptimal range. Now, the silver lining here is that Ola Electric has started to set up some EV chargers, and they're planning to set up 4,000 of these chargers in 2022. And in the next 6 to 8 weeks, they'll start to operationalize some of them so that their customers can actually start to use them and charge their electric scooters while they're outside of their own homes. All right, moving on to some acquisition news now. Hanasa Consumer, the parent company of D2C baby care brand Mamaearth, has acquired women-focused parenting platform Momspresso and its affiliate micro-influencer marketing platform Momspresso My Money. This acquisition is part of Mamaearth's strategy of leveraging content to grow their D2C brands, and it's going to give them access to an engaged community of 30 million moms and women in 10 Indian languages, as well as 200,000 micro-influencers. Now, after this acquisition, Momspresso will continue to be operated independently by the company's co-founders. All right, now moving on to some funding news, but continuing to talk about Mamaearth, they've raised $37.5 million in a funding round led by Sequoia Capital at a more than $1 billion valuation, making them the 42nd Indian startup unicorn of 2021, and also one of the few Indian startup unicorns to have a woman founder. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that Mamaearth has not confirmed yet that this deal actually happened or that they're currently valued at over $1 billion, so do take this with a grain of salt. We may need to retract this position of theirs as the 42nd startup unicorn of 2021. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I just want to let you guys know that it's not fully confirmed yet. But just a little bit of background on Mamaearth. Husband-wife duo Varun and Ghazal Alagh launched this toxin-free baby care brand back in 2016. And today, they're one of the leading D2C baby care brands in the country, selling products worth 500 crore rupees in the financial year of 2021. All right, next up in the funding news, we have another Indian startup unicorn. Thrasio-style D2C house of brands GlobalBees has raised $111.5 million in a funding round led by Premji Invest at a $1.1 billion valuation, making them the 43rd Indian startup unicorn of 2021 and the second fastest Indian startup to become a unicorn in just 9 months. Now, the current record holder for the fastest Indian startup to become a unicorn is, of course, Mensa Brands. It took them just 6 months to become a unicorn, and GlobalBees is very similar to this startup, Mensa Brands. Both of these companies acquire D2C brands that they think have massive growth potential, and then spend the next few years scaling these brands and raking in the profits without having to create a brand themselves from scratch. GlobalBees is going to be using these funds to add more brands to their portfolio, and they're currently in talks with more than 20 different brands that they're hoping to acquire and then scale across India and the rest of the world. All right, next up in the funding news, B2B marketplace for manufacturing services Zetwerk has raised $210 million in a funding round led by Green Oaks Capital at a valuation of $2.68 billion, which is double their valuation in August of 2021 of $1.33 billion. Now, in a nutshell, what Zetwerk does is they connect companies that need customized machine parts for their products directly with original equipment manufacturers. Those are OEMs. And because of this, they've managed to grow their revenues by almost 3x in the financial year of 2021. In the financial year of 2020, they saw revenues of 360 crore rupees, but that number has gone up to 949 crore rupees in the financial year of 2021. All right, next up in the funding news, neo-banking startup Jupiter has raised $86 million in a funding round led by Tiger Global, QED, and Sequoia Capital at a $711 million valuation, which is more than 2x their valuation in August of 2021 of $300 million. So Jupiter launched their neobanking service earlier this year in June, and they offer their customers a 100% digital banking experience. They're expecting to onboard 2 million users by the end of 2022, and they're going to be using these funds to develop and add more banking products for their customers. They're planning on introducing lending features by April and a wider range of investment products later in the year. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week and last year. We're now done with 2021, for better or for worse. It was amazing for India's startup ecosystem, so I'm kind of sad that it's over, but I'm also really looking forward to seeing what happens in India's startup ecosystem in 2022. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you enjoyed the year. And if you did, it would mean a lot to us if you could hit the like button, share this video with a friend or two, and also if you haven't already subscribed, we post new videos every single week about Indian startups, entrepreneurs, and the latest news. Also, I wanted to say a big thanks to all of our Backstage with Millionaires members, our unicorns, our decacorns, and our hectacorns. Whether you've just become a Backstage with Millionaires member recently, or whether you've been a member for the entire year, for all of 2021, big thanks to you guys for believing in what we're doing enough to financially support us. Also, big thanks to everybody who's been sending super thanks our way in the comments. And even if you can't afford to financially support what we do here at Backstage with Millionaires, don't worry. Just the fact that you've made it this far, the fact that you're watching this video right now is plenty of help. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Backstage with Millionaires, and I